The internet, boom, there comes the numbers up. So if there's being a misuse in that manner, there will also be the means through this bill and the procedure set out for the Office of Consumer Affairs to issue an order for the disconnect of that number. And this is why we feel it's important. Two things is to protect our local small businesses, not just floral companies, locksmith, plumbers, other service people who have needs for heating and air conditioning, all that is being misused, this type of telephone systems. And that's presenting it in a nutshell, Mr. Chairman. I'll be glad to answer any questions. We also have the representatives of the Office of Governor's Office of Consumer Affairs with us today.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman Willard. Questions? Okay, Coach Williams, you're recognized.
I'm just wondering, Chairman Willard, the Office of Consumer Affairs and the Governor's Office, does that mean they have to hire more staff?
I'll have to let them answer that. Mr. Cloud's here. Bill Cloud, you want to come up?
Come on up. I do want to, for this committee, if the person presenting the bill would like to reference or have somebody come and speak on it, that's fine.
I appreciate
Normally we don't have public
I couldn't answer that question.
That is fine. Yes, sir. You're recognized.
Thank you, sir. Quite frankly, it'll be something we'll have to prioritize in terms of the office. We're not going to have funds for additional staff, but the one thing we've learned through the years is the term "they can absorb it," and we will absorb it and do the best we can with it.
That means you don't know how many new staff members that you'll be hiring.
We won't be hiring new staff members.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Further questions? Chairman Amerson. Because this is webcast, I need to ask you to have a microphone there that you can.
During the course of the testimony, was anything discussed having to do with happenings on the web? I noticed more and more that, and this happened to me, I went on the web to reserve a room in a hotel. And while I thought I was at that particular website, another drop-down ad came on and said, are you familiar with our specials for the week? And so you click on that particular ad, and it takes you clear out of, well, I was trying Marriott, okay? So it took me clear out of Marriott, and they said, no, we don't have anything in Marriott, but we do have so-and-so at other hotels. And I wish we could do something about that.
If I may, Chairman Amerson, I can tell you from experience about, I think it was actually my first or second year here, I had a good deal of experience with some of the first state legislation in the country dealing with internet. And the problem you run into from the state legislature perspective is the Commerce Clause, and almost anything, I won't say anything we do, but a lot of things we do here that relates to that, when it gets to the courts, it's struck down because of the Commerce Clause. In other words, it has to be some kind of federal legislation that addresses those things, unfortunately.
Thank you.
Okay.
Representative Willard, on page 5, line item 140, I believe, through maybe 146, the cease and cease notice. Once this has happened and the person do not do that, what's the penalty? Is this a misdemeanor or what?
We don't have really penalties in that regard, and I don't know if what you have is just you'd have to go through the process again. If they've got another published number, is file a complaint, have the hearing, and find that they've done wrong and pull the number. So there's an order issued that the Governor's Office of Consumer Affairs issues a cease and desist order, I guess, but I'm not sure. You have to answer past that point, Bill, what happens.
when we issue a cease and desist order, we go into the administrative hearing procedure. And at that point, we have to offer to go into the administrative hearing procedure. And at that point, there would be an administrative hearing. If they did not cease and desist, if they did cease and desist, then there would be no further action.
No matter what state they live in.
Come back the second time. What happened?
Okay. Yeah.
The second time, then you have an opportunity. I believe this would be a violation of our Fair Business Practices Act, and it could be up to $2,000 per violation.
Thank you.
Questions? Representative Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Willard, question here in Section 14A2.
A2, yes, sir.
What happens to existing businesses that are already listed, for example, in a directory, and I'm going to use the same example my good friend here used, are on the internet and they've got an 800 number but no physical address, who are already there? What happens?
Good question. And what we put a beginning date of this, effective date of January 1, 2010.
Okay.
And so where you have, for instance, they're using a listing as just a 1-800 number without a toll-free number, we call it, but failing to list the principal place of business. That is what the requirement is. So that when I look at somebody by that 1-800 number, they got to show that their principal place of business is not, say, in Sandy Springs, but it's going to be in Bayonne, New Jersey.
Sure.
At least listed that way.
Okay.
Further questions? Any further questions for Chairman Willard? See no further questions. Chairman Willard, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, Mr. Chairman, this I think is at least a step in say the way to help protect our local business people.
Okay, thank you. What's the will of the committee? We have a do-pass recommendation from Chairman Amerson. We have a second. We have a second from Coach. Any discussion? All in favor of committee substitute to House Bill 267, do-pass recommendation, signify by saying aye. All opposed say no. The measure passes. House Bill 267 will be sent to the full House with a do-pass recommendation and will be reported to the Rules Committee.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I appreciate your support.
Thank you, Chairman Willard. And anything from the committee? Anybody have anything they want to bring to us? Otherwise, this committee is adjourned. Committee meeting is adjourned. Committee.